I'm expecting just, standard.
Isn't this something AI can do?
Probably.
Just facial tracking.
OBS figured out.
I feel like that was one of the first things AI could do.
I think there are apps that do that. I don't even think it's AI. I think it's just like
conference room. The
They
conference
have,
room
they have
videos.
VTuber technology, right?
yeah. You zoom
that
in
needs
as a
to be-
VTuber.
Yeah, that needs to be our special episode.
Oh, we're all VTubers.
Yeah. But what would it be for?
Paprika.
You can't just do it for nothing.
Rewatch a Paprika. And we're all on mushrooms.
Oh dear.
In person.
That song,
but
just
also
playing.
only VTubing. Dude, that song is so good and Spotify doesn't have it anymore on Taste. It's upsetting. Hey everybody.
Hi.
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say I'm looking at this IMDb and I don't know any of these characters besides the four.
It's a perfect cast.
Corey Michael Smith is a real person.
No, he's Venus.
He looks like a mannequin.
He looks like Patrick
all the rest of the
Wilson's
people are-
son.
Yeah. We saw Paula. Other than that, I don't think they were named.
Esther.
Ah, that's right, Hester.
The other one's nope. None of them. Hey everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Ramen Cinema. Today, we're going to be looking at the movie Mountainhead. Now streaming on HBO. Chosen by Nate. And I'm joined by my guests, Nate and Jake. Nate, how you feeling?
Not great, but again, better than I did 20 minutes into the movie.
Yeah, we're looking up.
Yeah. Yeah, apparently give it a couple hours, it grows on you even more.
It's like AI, really. The first couple times you use it, you're like, this kind of sucks. I don't know if I want to use this. And then you keep doing it, and you're like,
And your brain melts.
it's kind of helpful, actually. A nice companion.
Yeah. I don't know. It's fine. Everything's great.
Okay. Good.
To watch truly ridiculous scenes.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah, it was fun once they went over the cliff.
Went off the edge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jake, how are you?
I'm not doing too bad.
Yeah.
I think Nate's sort of referencing the fact that I wasn't too keen on this movie at the start, and I mentioned that after a little bit of time, a couple hours, it started to grow on me a little bit. But now I'm thinking maybe now I have some distance from the first third of the movie.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Or maybe you were just like, yeah, maybe billionaires should be able to murder whoever they want. I think might come around.
I did think the best joke of this whole movie was in the first third. When Rami Youssef's character walks into the house for the first time. So Mountainhead is a book written by Ayn Rand. And Jason Schwartzman's character owns the house, and it's called Mountainhead. And he tells him that. And he goes, oh, who's your decorator? Ayn Bland? That was so funny.
It was a great one-liner.
Yeah.
It was a great one-liner.
Very Succession. You know what? I think this is going to be short-ish. So let's get into it.
Sure.
For me later, I edit these now differently. So I have a little review, like 10-minute review. So what we're going to do is we're going to do our like overall review, talking about what we liked, what we didn't like, and then we'll talk about the plot afterwards.
Okay.
All right.
Putting some dead air in there so I can cut nicely.
Thought we were just awkward.
I'm going to have to do it again now.
Not long enough.
Yeah. So Mountainhead, now streaming on HBO, is a movie written and directed by Jesse Armstrong, who we all know from Succession. And quick review from Letterboxd. The funniest one I saw was someone just wrote the word Succession, but with S-U-C-K instead of S-U-C-C. And that was hilarious. So that's the overall
It is funny.
internet review of this movie is, it's not Succession, which unfair comparison. Obviously, Succession, like
Yeah, obviously an unfair comparison. in addition to Succession being one of the, better shows,
Ever.
in recent show history. Yeah, it's probably up there with some of the all-timers.
Yeah.
It's also a different medium, right? I don't think it's fair to compare a show to a movie in the first place.
Hmm. That's a fair point.
HBO Prestige show. That's like over an hour per episode.
Right. Yeah. Like I
Yeah.
think
This was less than 2 episodes of Succession.
I was gonna say I think one of the last episodes of Succession was longer than this movie.
Oh yeah,
I'm pretty
the
sure.
finale was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like,
Do you think
it's
Jesse
like
Armstrong? Go ahead.
we have the upcoming, which also is HBO, the Harry Potter show.
Yeah.
People are going to compare it to the movie.
And it's gonna be
It's going
better
to be
than the movie.
unfair. Probably.
At least from like depth of story, because they'll have
12
hours.
It has to be. You have like 10 times the amount of time to tell your story.
Yeah. Exactly. This movie is starring Steve Carell as Randall, who I think is the main character. Jason Schwartzman, who plays Super. Corey Michael Smith, who plays Venice. And Rami Youssef, who plays Jeff. Let's start with what you thought of this movie. What would you give it out of 10?
That's tough.
I remember my previous rating.
Yeah. What was the last one? And I gave it a 4.
The last one was we liked it.
Okay.
Friendship.
Yep. Friendship.
Yeah.
This was to me was better than Friendship.
Okay.
I don't think it was funnier than Friendship. So in terms of as a comedy, Friendship was better.
Sure.
But I like this better. But I'll give this one either a 4 or a 5. If it's a 4, it's higher than Friendship.
Okay, that's fair. Nate?
I disagree with you, obviously, but I also give it a 5.
Yeah, same. I give it a 5. I have it above The Gorge and behind Scary Movie 1. And on the would you watch it? Oh no, we'll do it at the end. Never mind. We'll do our
okay.
Yeah. This is new.
All right, edit that out.
No. YouTube needs to know. The 6 people that watch this need to know. So this movie, I think, centers around Randall because at the beginning of the movie, we find out he has cancer and is dying. That's the whole intro to this movie is him on a plane talking to a doctor. And I think the whole movie is him coming to terms with that and trying to accelerate he wants it to not happen any way possible. Like he tells the doctor, figure out a way to cure me because like I think he's a person who's never really taken no as an answer in his life. He's a multi-billionaire.
Like these are people that have the money that like not only can they get whatever they want, but also, you get to a certain level of money and rules and laws and things like that start not applying to you.
Yes. 100%.
So, so that's kind of the life he lives is he gets whatever he wants because he has the money to throw at it. And now he comes across cancer, which doesn't care how rich you are.
Yep.
Well, it does.
Yeah.
But,
it helps.
Yeah.
It's like, can't you just fund cancer research, dude?
Right. No, it's
like you got 10 years. If you could crack it, if you just threw $60 billion at it.
It's a me problem, not a you problem.
Uh-huh.
So Randall finds this out early on, and then he's the one that wants to. He starts like stirring the pot of taking over the world once Venice's Twitter app freaks out.
If there was anything that I would want to rewatch, it's to rewatch to see how they gently slipped into talking about taking over the world.
I know.
Because it was a very gradual, at first you think they're joking, and then they're like, oh, we can actually do this. And, like, first they're joking about taking over, like, Venezuela or something.
Portugal.
And then
Argentina.
and then they slowly just
maybe China
descend into
and there's a risk board that there's shown during the movie, and Soup is actually on a call with Argentinian officials at some point trying to figure out what they can do,
trying to organize a military coup.
I think this movie, it's very much kind of split into 2 separate arcs. and the first arc is very much just, I think, pure political satire.
Yeah.
Right. It seems like a serious movie. It's kind of crazy in that these characters are, because they're off the chart rich, they, they themselves feel like they're above other humans,
Mhm.
right? They even that was even a line in the movie that I was laughing at. One of them asked if he thinks people are real, and he's like, "No, I don't
Yeah,
think they're
you
real. They're
actually
just
believe in 8 billion
yeah."
people.
Yeah.
Like, it took me a second, yeah, because he's like, "Do you believe in people?" And you can take that as, "Do you believe?" And then he's like, "No, no, like, he doesn't believe other people exist."
Yeah. Everything's made
Like,
up. Like
it's just
everything that they see on the internet that they're like, "Oh, I think the mayor of Paris just got murdered." Nah, I don't think he did. Like that guy's Venus is just
yeah.
or Venice is just always like, "No, I don't think so."
I mean, yeah, if anything, I got, like, very heavy-handed on the AI, the current,
Oh my
like,
god.
topical AI,
Yeah.
generative AI debate, and
Yeah,
a little
how
heavy-handed.
timely. How timely though, because obviously
It's
this
good
movie
timing,
had to
yeah.
have been, in writing and production and filming and things like that for a while.
Yeah.
No,
So
they timed it well.
they really nailed the timing of when to drop this.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Um I also think that this movie tackles a lot of ideas very surface level. And I think that my argument is this movie would be better if it was a TV show. If it was a short, like a 6 episode or 8 episode run show. I think it would be really interesting. I think that the things that they could get into talking about, all right, what does taking over the world actually look like for them? Like if you keep going with the satire, keep going deeper. But they could explore the ideas of AI. They could explore the ideas of like, what is it to be rich? What is it to stay alive? Like, what would you do to stay alive? Like, would you kill your best friend, one of your like best friends, and try to put your brain up into the grid? Because that's what Randall's putting over here. It's like, to stay alive, I will do this, and to stay ahead, I will do this. And like the competition of them, who has more money, like that was interesting. Like, there's a lot of cool ideas, but
They had a lot of funny bits. My issue with making this series longer is the first part of this movie where it is, it's four billionaires. They get together, so
well,
they're
three
having their
billionaires.
poker night. Yeah, right. They have their own running bits. One of them is that Jason Schwartzman's character. They call him Soup, Soup Kitchen, Super. They have a lot of nicknames for him, but they call him those things because he's the poorest one.
$750 million.
At 550 million.
Yeah, 550 million. Oops.
And
Barely half a billion.
it's a big issue for him. Like,
Yeah.
he's very insecure because he's never been able to break a billion. They all have their own quirks. They're billionaires, they're odd characters, right? But so this first part of the movie, it has some great moments, it has some great lines and bits, but it overstayed its welcome for me. And I don't know what it was. I don't know how you could quite fix it, but I was ready to not like this movie until it got into sort of the absurdity of the second part.
Yeah.
That, yeah. I my issue with like saying it should be a series or would be better as a series, like I think you're just describing a different serious show that you'd like the writer of Succession to write that like looks at these issues.
Yeah.
Like, this was supposed to be an absurdist comedy, and like I think a big part of it too is uh the surface level of their, like, I guess, contact of the world assessment of issues, which like came across as very funny, uh as like a parody of tech bro, tech CEO culture.
Yes.
Like, they're just bullshit masters who are good at like stringing together a series of words that sound smart, and they have like when they get into talking about taking over the world, they're like, oh yeah, that'll be easy. Like, do we throw in North America? Like, they're fucking idiots.
Yeah.
Like,
Which
clearly, like, they have business savvy, but they're think that they can just, like, whether they actually think that they can do it or not, they're just like bullshitting this, like shitting out this like half-cocked plan that they're never going to do, and they all know they're never going to do it.
yeah.
And they even do like half-cocked stuff, but like it doesn't, like, they're make oh god, they get into like they want to like punish Europe, so they're like, I could cause some brownouts. And like, it makes a call, and like it is hilarious that it's happening in the background.
Yeah.
But like they're not like taking over the planet. He just like fucked up the energy grid for a day.
I really
Like
appreciate.
they're incredibly powerful, but they're idiots.
Yes, and that juxtaposition is so well put, like visually in this movie, because they like I think a lot of people who maybe don't know tech bros would see that part and be like, are they actually going to take the world? Like, is that what this is going to be about? And then you see
Yeah.
like 20 minutes later, they're like trying to shovel gasoline under a sauna door, and they use their hands for a while, and they're like, okay, these guys are
Yeah.
morons.
There's so many great lines. I mean, Steve Carell, I don't agree that it's about Randall, but I think Steve Carell stole the show just with like his playing of like everything he said was like an empty like
Fortune cookie.
an empty saying that meant nothing. Yeah,
Yeah.
fortune
Yep.
cookie
He's
wisdom.
and he's always pulling different philosophers and
Yeah, like, he's
referencing different
read.
moments in history. And but it's so funny because when he speaks too, all of them stop and they're like
Oh yeah.
listening
Yeah,
and
'cause they're
nodding,
all
like they're
fucking
totally
idiots.
buying
Well,
it.
and he was the VC
Yeah, like
for the
he-
other two, the two younger guys. So like obviously they're going
Yeah.
to look at him. I mean, they call him Papa Bear for God's sakes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, he is well read. Like it's like they're smart. They're just also they're so caught up in their own like
Egos.
bullshit that they're idiots. And like so everything that came out of his mouth was either like some fake wise bullshit or just like the stupidest shit in the world. Like he got in so many funny lines. He said, when you think about it, there are a lot of holes in the human skull. Just like that just came out of his mouth at one point. Like,
Yeah, they were deciding how to
he said
kill him.
so many funny things.
Hard hat, hello.
Yeah.
I think so his character Randall, I think is the perfect amount of Steve Carell.
Yeah.
Mm.
It wasn't full blast Steve Carell, like maybe you've seen him in
The Office. 40-Year-Old Virgin.
or like Anchorman, maybe.
Yeah.
Anchorman,
something like
40-Year-Old Virgin.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, this is too much. It's funny, but it for me it overstays its welcome.
Yeah.
And I think this was perfect for him, right? He has his his more serious moments. He's able to do the classic Steve Carell kind of freakouts.
Mhm.
He's playing this
Those
unhinged
freakouts are really
billionaire, and I think it was perfect for him. I do agree that that of the four, he probably had the best performance.
Mhm.
I'd also shout out Corey Michael Smith.
So good. Yeah.
And because he played Chevy Chase
Yeah, that's right.
in the Saturday Night Live movie.
That's
Did not
right. That's
recognize
where I
him.
recognize him from. Okay.
And he killed it in that. And I think Chevy Chase into eccentric, Zuckerberg / Musk style billionaire is
Pretty
not
awesome.
that far of a leap.
Yeah.
To
But
play a guy who seems like
is in
he's on
some
cocaine,
way.
but he's actually not on cocaine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's intense.
Yeah.
in some ways it's a huge leap, in other ways it's not. And I think he nailed both of those roles perfectly.
100%.
Yeah.
So Jesse Armstrong began researching this topic after reading a book about Sam Bankman-Fried in 2023. He wrote the script in 2024 after Trump's election, and it was done 6 months later. Like the filming was done 6 months later. That's how quick this got going.
That explains the timeliness.
Yeah, exactly. It's like an episode of South Park for movies.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think on our rating system, we have skip it, wait till it's streaming. It is rent this movie at home, go see it in theaters, buy it digitally, buy the physical disc, stream it. If you got a Friday night and you're bored, sure, you might like it. It's fun. It's like unoffensive. You'll be fine.
Yeah, I think right where it's at is perfect, right? I watched it, just pulled up on Max, and I'm like, yeah, it was enjoyable.
Yeah.
I wouldn't rave about it, but it was good.
Exactly. I don't need to watch it again anytime soon, I don't think.
I'm at the stream it level, but I do think for like you guys are just close, like aware enough of in pop culture, and like to like know like the tech memes, but like I would recommend this to like most of my friends that are like in the startup culture.
Yeah.
Like it really, I was like, I had a lot of laugh out loud moments. I think my favorite when they're trapped chasing him down in the house, and they're like, first, Steve Carell's character's like, if he finds a pad, could he hack it? And Super's just like, maybe if you can program for shit. And Venice just turns and smirks. And I fucking died. Like, that's such a fucking stupid bro thing.
Oh my
Like,
god.
it's Silicon Valley to a T.
Every stairway
Like,
in
I
like
think if you
Apple
like
headquarters.
Silicon Valley, you will at least like get a lot of laughs out of this movie.
If you felt like Silicon Valley spoke to you, you should watch this movie.
Yeah. Like and again, it's weird because it's so unlikable. Like that it was hard to watch, and before it got into the absurdity, it was like before you could really laugh at them, you're just like, oh my god, these fucking monsters.
And they only
And they were also awkward and uncomfortable,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
the only halfway likable character they tried to kill the whole time.
yeah,
Which was
I mean,
even
yeah,
better.
he was clearly the likable
Yeah,
character.
the reason in the room.
Though major kudos to the ending, and I really loved like Taylor's reaction of just like, she's like, are they really not gonna like get a satisfying ending for like the good guy? And instead they turn it on their head, and like you find out he's actually really is just a piece of shit too.
Yep.
Like I love the very ending of the movie.
Yeah. If that was episode 1 of a show, and like the next episode, I know they're gonna like try to fuck with Randall and like see how they get out of that. I think they could keep the same tone.
Yeah.
And give me like 5 more of these, and I'd be okay.
It's funny because I feel like the most I don't think there's a lot of character growth in this movie, right? It's just us kind of
It
observing
seems like
them.
there is sometimes, and then they go back on it.
Yeah.
All
Yep,
of them.
everybody goes back, but at the very end of the movie,
Oh god.
like just in literally the last 1 or 2 minutes worth of scene is like just like twists and turns.
Yep.
Mhm.
And it, so it almost leaves you wanting to know what happens next, or
Mhm.
thinking about what happens next more than the first entire half of the movie.
Yeah.
It's
I definitely I agree. Left wanting to know more, but I can't imagine it actually playing out.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Like I was gonna say, do you think who's the writer?
Jesse Armstrong. Yeah.
Do you think Jesse Armstrong like wrote Succession and then was like, no, you're not supposed to like these fucking people, and wrote this movie? Like, because like the longer you spend, you inevitably like. I don't think anyone would describe most of the characters in Succession as likable, but like you're rooting for people like in a perverse way. This was so completely unlikable.
Yeah.
Like he's like, you're supposed to hate these billionaires.
And like
what don't you people understand?
Like a lot of people like Roman in Succession, he sent a dick pic to his dad. Like and you're like, he's cool. I like him.
The very first scene of Succession is probably still my favorite scene, and he's the worst of them.
Yeah.
By a lot. Bad. Like he's a sociopath, and that's all four of these guys. Like the most pitiable one, it's just because like he's the least rich.
He's
like,
the newest. Yeah.
And arguably he's the only one who ends up with maybe the happiest ending.
For sure. Soup. Yeah.
I mean, he pulled out. I mean, I think that Jeff's gonna claw it back, but
I do too.
I love that they just skipped over the lawyer. Like, as the lawyers are coming in, you're just like, what the fuck? And I think they just like, nah, we're not dealing with that.
No.
Like, they just skipped over
They're just having breakfast. Yeah, man, those NDAs were crazy. Like,
it's fun that they have these lawyers that came in and are like, all right. Like,
we've done this before.
Fucking billionaires.
Yeah. So, Mountainhead on HBO. Maybe watch it.
Maybe watch it.
Do you want to break the plot down for our podcast listeners?
I will, as punishment, break it down really quick.
Hit it.
So yeah. 4 billionaires are getting together.
3 billionaires like and a multimillionaire.
You're right. 4 insanely rich people are getting together for poker night. They're old friends. We see each of them coming to the mansion. Like Ben said, the first thing we see is the older Randall, who is the oldest of them, and like VC'd for all of them, or at least 2 of them. I assume all of them to some degree. And we find out that he has cancer, and he's meeting with a doctor on his way there, and the doctor's saying it's terminal, and he's just like, no, I don't believe you. And then we see Corey Michael Smith's character, Venice, who's like basically a Twitter analog CEO who has this AI technology that's doing like undetectable deep fakes, and the world is just falling apart. The whole time he's like getting news, and it's just like riots and unrest in basically every country, because people are creating deepfakes that are accusing their political opponents of doing things, and citizens are rioting and killing people. Uh, and he's just like trying to pretend like it's going to be okay. Like this is why I don't fully agree, Ben. Like I think all the characters had. I think Randall was like maybe the most interesting and the most instigating, but like they all had a lot going on.
Yeah.
And his whole arc, Venice's whole arc, is just trying to like come out of this unscathed while he basically destroys the world with generative AI.
Yeah. Yeah.
And part of the reason he goes is because his friend slash clearly they have some history, like they worked together on stuff. Jeff, who Yusuf's character, has developed a filter that can look at an AI video and say whether it's real or not. And so
Huge,
he's
by the
being
way.
pressured by his
Massive.
board to like, yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Pressured by his board to get him to work with him in some capacity so that they can put filters on this and like prevent it from destroying the world. And then Jason Schwartzman's character is the host. He's built this insane mansion in the mountains with a fucking pool.
I know.
A fucking pool
in Utah.
In the middle of these mountains.
Yeah.
In the Utah mountains up in the snow. And yeah, he's just kind of, you get the impression right away that he's kind of insecure and pathetic, and we eventually find out that's because he they call him Super. They call him Soup Kitchen because he's the only non-billionaire of the group. He only has 580 million.
He wants to bust his bee nut. He says that a few times.
Yeah.
He wants to bust a bee nut and give birth to a unicorn.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's brought them all there to pitch his meditation app.
So funny.
And try to get investment so that he can bust his bee nuts.
I fucking love that part so much.
Yeah. Yeah. So we get to the house. Randall is dealing with his cancer, like denial of his cancer diagnosis. Venice is dealing with his AI destroying the world. Jeff has bad blood with Venice about how something happened with the founding probably of that Twitter company. He probably got ousted or something. But he's made his own company that has an AI filter that Venice needs, and Super just sucks. So they get there and they're like all trading barbs and like ribbing each other. They're clearly like old friends. They call themselves the Brewsters.
The Brewsters.
So it really is like four very fratty college bros getting together and just like busting each other's balls, but they're all billionaires. And yeah, it's, as we alluded to, the least likable part of them. It just sucks. Like it's very unpleasant. There's some good like one-liner jokes, but like the situation isn't very funny. They're all just kind of like standing around talking about Venice's company and situation and catching up.
Yeah.
Isn't this kind of like the awkward reintegrating with friends for the first like hour kind of situation?
Yeah.
It is awkward. They're like all like, oh, how are you doing? How are you with your divorce and your cancer and your destroying the world? But eventually like Venice comes out and is like says to Jeff, you should just let me buy your company and buy your filter. And it is becoming clear as they're all sitting around watching videos of like the civil unrest and like how much of the world, like they're basically like just calling out countries. They're like, oh, Venezuela's banks are down, Mexico's like banking system has failed, every country is falling to this stuff. Like I don't think there's a world, like we end and kind of just forget about the world at the end, but like I think the world is ending.
Yeah, it's very much like Rumors a little bit, like this weird shit's happening outside,
vague thing.
And it's interesting because it gives, like, we're seeing how disconnected they are from all of that. Because like one, they're physically isolated from it, but also as they're learning about these things, they're just like they don't care. They consider themselves so removed from society that it's almost bizarre to see their reactions to the world crumbling around them.
Yeah, and they're seeing it the way we would.
They're basically just thinking about how it relates to them.
Yeah.
Like whether it's gonna Venice, whether it's gonna screw him up, and the rest of them like how it affects their finances and
Jeff's
stuff
making
like that.
money. It's tripling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, Venice makes the hard pitch, and uh, Jeff, the developer of the AI, is clearly the only one who seems like he's a little more bothered by this. Unclear how much of it is just resentment towards Venice and how much of it is actual concern, but like
Mm.
he's like basically making glib comments about like, oh yeah, you think that human's head exploding is a joke? Like you think that hospital exploding
Yeah.
is totally fake? Like
Yeah.
he seems bothered by it, but again, it's not totally clear if it's not just resentment.
Yeah.
I think at least also in terms of plot, right? So he's like the only one of the four that seems to have a moral compass,
Mm.
mm,
at least to some degree. And I think plot wise, it's needed because if all four of them were just like sociopaths,
yeah,
then there wouldn't be any sort of force pulling them back to normality.
True.
yeah.
And it would just immediately go off the rails too
That's
quickly.
true.
And so I think plot device, that's the purpose he serves. Um, although we do find out later he doesn't really care as much as he might claim.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say, speaking of, like, we at this the movie starts to devolve into craziness, and it's usually in conversations where he's not there. Uh,
Yeah.
but I guess yeah, the thing driving the plot forward, they go for a little walk, and they're all having one-on-one talks, and uh, Randall, Steve Carell's character, who's dying of cancer, is kind of picking Venice's brain about what he thinks about transhumanism and whether he thinks like we could actually get to a point where we're uploading people's brains to the cloud. And Venice basically says, like, oh, totally, it'll be here in like 10 to 15 years, which is not the answer Randall wants. And then he says, but if I could get, Jeff's AI filter, which doesn't even make sense to me, but if I could just get Jeff's filter, like, and combine our two companies, like, oh, we could knock it out in like 5 years, which again is just like so what you hear in tech.
Mhm.
Like, it's exactly that kind of shit.
Yeah,
But yeah,
if it's coming in 5 years, it means it's coming in 25 or never.
Never.
yeah,
Yeah.
Tesla self-driving has been coming for 20 years now.
Uh-huh.
Also, every other self-driving car,
Well, yeah.
including the one I worked at, but uh, the Waymos at least come to you now,
Right.
so you can set them on fire.
Yeah,
They are working.
that's perfect.
Yeah, but
Do you think
yeah,
they could keep driving
so
if they're on fire?
I think they probably would detect, though. Who knows?
I don't know. Do you think there's
I'll
a
tell you what,
temperature
the
sensor?
company I worked at, it wouldn't notice. It would keep driving. It's not going to notice a person under it. It's not going to notice something on fire. But yeah, so this becomes Randall's motivation. Is he's now motivated to get Jeff to sell to Venice because all he cares about is getting the upload to the cloud so that he can be immortal. And so they start trying to push Jeff a little bit, and there is a little bit of a side where they are talking about the world unrest and just start talking about taking over the world. I think we alluded to when we were reviewing, but basically they're talking about uh, taking over Buenos Aires and installing Super as the president. And then it just slowly grows until they're just bullshitting for like 15, 20 minutes. And it just slowly grows into taking over more and more of the world. And they're like, we could actually do this. Like, we could like overthrow the world and like force a technocracy. Oh, there's a word for a
Technocracy?
government driven by technocracy. That sounds wrong,
Technocracy.
uh, but like dictatorship for the good of the world. We will take over the world and we'll force the singularity, and then everyone will be better off.
Yeah.
And they're like talking this up, but they're also like, oh yeah, we could totally do this. Like, I have a connection at the White House. Yeah, at some point,
Can we get a pre-pardon?
Jeff's like, everyone has a connection to the White House.
That was funny. Yeah, that was really good.
Yeah, which calling out the president does call them during this because of all the civil unrest. Does call Venice and like is basically asking him to
turn it off.
Like, I don't know, consider taking it offline. So
Yeah.
we don't hear the conversation, but the president calls him in a panic because like the U.S. is also up in flames.
Mm.
But yeah, they're talking about taking over the world, and it finally like kind of changes direction to the fully absurd because now they're just talking and being dumb. It's a little absurd because, as we said, they do get some Venezuelan like military on the phone talk about doing a coup d'etat with Super.
Oh my god.
And it's just kind of happening in the background for the rest of the movie. Like he's got a video conference with a bunch of like government-looking people that he keeps sitting in on. So yeah, they're doing a coup, but other than that, they kind of move on. Jeff basically takes Randall aside and says, like, I don't want to sell. I think we should instead try to get Venice like ousted from his board and install someone more sane. He basically says, like, this is all well and good. Like, yeah, I love the idea of the singularity, but like, also we're doing pretty well in this world, so why don't we try to maintain this world? And
He tells that to
Randall
Randall.
decide. Yeah, he tells this to Randall only, and it's like saying, maybe we just try to stabilize this situation, kick Venice out, install someone new with your help. And Randall decides that Jeff has to die, and and this is basically the rest of the movie. Randall gets Venice and Super together, and it's like we have to kill Jeff so that we can, combine your companies and take over the world.
Do the singularity. Yeah.
Yes, and then it's
he
just
gets
these
them.
three.
He gets them on board relatively quickly,
I know.
which is funny. And throughout the movie, he's sort of done his whole historical arguments, philosophical arguments, and he really just sort of pulls the fact that it'll do the greatest amount of good for the greatest amount of people.
Yeah.
He pulls the utilitarian argument on him.
A trolley
And they all
problem.
like- Yeah, and then they all just sort of immediately like, you know what? Yeah, I think if he died, it would be better for the rest of the world. So we are
Logically.
morally obligated to kill him.
Yeah, logically,
they're
I
just
can't get
very-
around this.
Mhm.
It's so insane.
Yeah, means to an end.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, it is funny. Super is kind of like wishy-washy, and Venice is just like immediately on board. Like, he's like, Randall's reason Venice is like, we're talking about killing Jeff. Not literally. And Venice is like, go on. So they decide they're going to kill him, and then they're trying to figure out how they're going to do it, what they're going to do, and they're just idiots.
It's a lot of physical visual gags from here on out, basically. They're really solid.
It's just when they are all creeping into his room.
Oh my god!
With a golf club, a bowling ball, and something. I don't
and then they
remember.
sidebar in the bathroom.
Yeah, they sidebar in the bathroom. Like them just creeping in is like almost Looney Tunes. Like,
so funny.
It was really funny just seeing these self-serious men like plot to kill one of their best friends.
It's really good.
And they really try to kill him.
A lot.
First they're gonna push him off a balcony, and they're all gonna push him on 1, 2, 3, and then they chicken out except for Super, and he almost pushes him off the ledge.
Yeah, he just like kind of awkwardly,
just shoves him. Yeah.
So awkward.
And then they sneak in his bedroom. They try to smother him with a pillow. Seems like it's working, but they screw up. He escapes. They chase him through the house and eventually lock him in a sauna, and then just decide that they're going to. I think just fucking idiots. They say, "Can you get some gas in there?" And Super's like, "Oh yeah." And I think they're thinking gas, like the substance
like natural gas. Yeah.
Super returns with gasoline. And they just roll with it. They start pouring gasoline out of the door.
He's like pushing.
They're gonna set him on fire, which is like so off the rails. They're trying to like get away with murder, and they talk about like having him have an accident, slip and fall, like frame of suicide, and they land on setting him on fire inside of a sauna. Jeff talks them out of killing him by saying like, I'll sign whatever you want, let's make a deal. And they, clearly out of cowardice of like not wanting to be the one to do the deed, not because they feel bad, decide like to go this route. And so they just bring in a bunch of lawyers and have him sign a bunch of NDAs and contracts, signing over the company to them, yada yada yada. Let him live, leave him locked in the sauna
overnight. We gave you a bucket, some Evian.
And we smash cut to the morning. They're having breakfast, everyone but Jeff. They release Jeff. He has his assistant go release Jeff. Got a full like belly laugh out of him when he calls Paula.
And they're talking about like, is he gonna come through here? Is he gonna like see? Yeah, no, he can get to his car.
They're all worried about how awkward it'll be if he shows up to have breakfast.
Like the fact that they thought they wouldn't be confronted is so funny.
And it was awkward. It did almost lose me at the end. Like the breakfast scene was pretty rough
Yeah.
with them just like making fun of him.
Yeah.
As he's just like, that was pretty horrible.
Here's some whiskey.
And you definitely feel bad for Jeff. But then he's leaving, and then Venice goes out to talk to him, and it's like basically apologizing, like giving a half-hearted apology, saying like, I'm under a lot of pressure, essentially, and we just had to make this happen. And Jeff's just like smiles and is like, I'm gonna get out of all of this, and I'm gonna be fine. Like I'll tie you up in court as long as I need to. And this the twist ending we were talking, like Venice is just like immediately starts dealing and is like, well, do you want to just make a deal with me? And he's like, Jeff says, not with Randall, and they just start conspiring against
Immediately.
Randall.
Make him disappear.
Yes, Jeff's like totally on board to just like make a partnership and oust Randall for game.
Yeah.
And that's the end.
The-
Randall sees them, looks unsettled.
Oh, he
and
looks
drives
really
away.
sad on the way out. Like his mortality is now in front of him.
And then
He lost the
Super,
game.
Yeah.
as it cuts
yeah.
away, Super's back in the house, and amidst all this chaos, he finds comfort in his own app, the meditation app, and he seems to kind of be, more at peace than anyone else.
100%.
Well, yeah, he made $2 billion.
He's looking good. I did appreciate
do is
the way that they tried to apologize was so funny. When they were just like,
oh yeah,
I'm sorry you feel that way.
The stereotypical non-apology.
It's so good.
We're sorry if you feel we did something wrong.
Yes. Oh my god. So funny.
Yeah. That was really good.
I would bring up two things. First of all, the character Venice. His name is so it's penis, but with a V.
Yeah.
I think that was intentional.
I think so.
Yeah.
And then, why do you think he wanted to buy Jeff's AI? Do you think he wanted it to enhance his own, or do you think he wanted to shelve it? Because I think he wanted to just get rid of it because he liked how powerful his AI was because no one could tell what was real and what wasn't.
Yeah.
Then this other guy comes along. His AI can tell you what's real and what's not. Is Venice's AI and thus company more powerful if this other AI just disappears?
I think that at the beginning, Venice was being pressured to bring it in to be a filter to tell people whether it's real or not, like put safeguards on the app. And he went in thinking this, but he like talked himself over the course of the night into like, let's just burn it all down and like power through. Like I think he legitimately just deluded himself into thinking it's a good thing that people can't believe AI with absolutely no sense behind it. Like it's what he wanted to be true, and he just convinced himself that it was true by like amping himself up over the course of the night. Like you see him get more and more like he goes through like the stages of denial, which is probably like a little jab at like the Trumpian thing. Like he goes in and he's like, this isn't real. Like he's like, this isn't a big deal. And then he's like, it's not even like everything they're saying isn't even real. Like you can tell it's real or not. He's like, it's funny. And then he's like, someone says something about like maybe like it's like better off like a controlled burn, and he just like latches onto it and he's like, yeah, like let's just like burn it all down and start fresh, and it's good that people are dying basically.
Yes.
And he basically like talks himself into it. So I think by the end of the show he wants to shelve it. End of the movie.
I think you're probably right. He sees where it could
It's just
go.
full insanity.
It's better because if the world wipes out, then he's thinking, well, I'm going to be one of the guys on top when it's all said and done. Remake it in my image.
I'll be the guy. Venice de Milo.
Yeah, I mean,
ew.
Enough. It wasn't funny, but it was enough to make me stop.
Yeah.
Like
it's like a yield sign of jokes. You're like, huh. I'll acknowledge that.
Solid pun.
Yeah.
You know what? Solid pun. That's what you got a recognition.
Yes.
I totally lost what I was saying.
That's fine.
Oh, his reaction with his wife and child.
Just child, right?
Oh my god.
His interaction. Oh yeah, that was like a
couldn't tell
nanny.
if that was his wife or not,
Nanny.
or if it was a nanny.
Yeah, nanny.
Okay.
That was
Horrific.
just inhuman.
Yeah.
It was so weird.
Horrific is the word.
It was so weird.
That was
That was
peak of
very
the
much
weirdness.
like like parody of. I think
Elon.
Zuckerberg probably gets it the most. Elon too, right?
Yeah.
They
Elon
almost
Musk, yeah.
seem, they almost seem like alien in the way that they
Yeah.
deal with people.
Yeah.
And yeah, so
He's
then
so
at one point the nanny brought over his baby, and it's just him interacting with it, and it was just
It
so
started
weird to
so
watch.
nice and like good, and then he just like sets the baby down and puts chess pieces in front of it, and we're like watching the other
I
three
don't
watching.
even know what he was doing, like scrying with his baby. I don't.
So insane.
Yeah,
But
like out.
it was
just on the cement
On
on
the
the
cement.
ground outside.
Yeah.
It was funny. The nanny comes out and he was like, "Did you tell him that we're gonna be pushing his nap a couple hours out because
Yes.
I'm open to negotiation?"
Always.
Like, at this point, we hadn't seen the baby yet, and I was like, "So is this like a 4-year-old or something?" And then it's some baby,
8
like
months old.
sub 1 year old, like a few months old.
Yeah.
It's just wild.
So good.
Yeah, I skipped over that part, I think subconsciously, because it was the most uncomforting and alien part of the movie.
It was
It was
fucked.
wild.
It was fun.
Even the other billionaires were watching it, and they were like, "This is
the
weird."
other ones were like calling him out and talking about how weird it was. But and it's funny because basically anytime with this group, anytime one of them is isolated from the others, they just immediately would turn on him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very true. And I wonder.
So it wasn't unique.
They don't really pick on super behind his back. They're just shitty to him in
Yeah, that
his
one's.
face.
Yeah.
They don't respect him enough to do it behind his back.
No,
Right
exactly.
to his face. You don't matter enough for me to be nice.
Yeah.
You can't give me anything. I think is the real answer there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So Mountainhead. Anything else you all want to say about this not bad movie?
Yes. I was so worried as soon as the spinner went to it, and I went back and looked at what it was. I was like, "Oh fuck, like, this is gonna suck."
We're gonna have to stop using the spinner.
All we saw was like Steve Carell. Like we saw it and like, ooh, interesting. Like the cast looked interesting.
I saw the tweet of like
yeah.
discussing film
Fucking
when it
billionaires.
first was getting produced, and they were like, Jesse Armstrong's writing a movie about the end of the world with a bunch of billionaires stuck on a mountain. I was like, this is gonna be fucking sick, and it was fine.
Yeah.
It's probably like Beau is Afraid for me. Like Ari Aster, I have high hopes, and I saw it and I was like, it's not for me, but it's fine.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I feel.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Game time. I have a game with 3 rounds. You each get to play each round. The game is called The Price is Wrong, bitch. I give you 3 Price is Right style games with movie themes. You pick the category, and then we play. Nate, come on down. So, first game, Mountain Climber. Everyone knows it. The one that goes do 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 do. I'm gonna give you a number you have to hit, and it's gonna be box office numbers rounded to the nearest million. You have to get to $2 billion without going over. And you're going to do that with one of the following categories that you get to choose. There's 6, so we're going to go through all of them. Disney movies, Marvel movies, DC movies, animated movies, Quentin Tarantino movies, or your top 16 movie list. Which one would you like to choose?
Quentin Tarantino movies add up to $2 billion.
That's a great question. You can find out.
Okay. Once we give a movie, are you climb up? Like, are you gonna tell us what we're at before we go to the next movie?
Yes,
Okay, cool.
I will.
I'll do Marvel movies.
Okay, Marvel movies it
I'm gonna
is.
play it safe.
Okay, give me a first one.
Iron Man 1.
Iron Man 1. I'm going off of IMDb. I'm just looking up the
I think
movie,
it's like 300 million.
and I'm going
I'm trying to gauge myself here.
where is it listed? Box office. And I'm doing worldwide gross.
Don't change up the rules on me.
I didn't say which one it was before.
That wasn't a change. It was just a
You
clarification.
scoffed at me when I said I used worldwide gross last episode.
Oh, okay, I'll do US then. Okay,
That's true.
Thank you.
319 million.
Okay,
I
but
was
now
a
you are
fucking
changing
idiot.
the rules.
Oh, can we hear that number again?
319 million.
Thank you very much.
All right, you
All
have
right, now the question is, how much does it
1.7
scale?
billion to go.
Yeah. Oh, I think I'm gonna do a bunch of small movies. That's how I'm gonna get there.
Let's get it.
Guardians 1.
Guardians of the
It's gonna be
Galaxy
like
1.
800 bill.
You think it's
800
800
I think
million?
so. It might be more. If anything, it's more.
For Bradley Cooper's most prolific role?
Yeah.
333. You're now at 652.
Okay. All right. Save. So I just need 5 of those.
Right. So
6
Guardians of
of
the Galaxy 2, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, Guardians of the Galaxy. No.
I'm gonna go Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and it's definitely did more.
You think so? More than 333? Okay.
Yeah.
That one did a solid 389.
All right.
You are now at 1.04 billion.
All right. Avengers 1.
900 to go. Avengers 1. I think
gonna
you're going
be
to go
like-
over, and it's going to be hilarious.
You think so?
No, maybe
It's
not.
gonna be $1 billion.
Maybe not yet.
I think it's gonna be just under $1 billion.
I think Endgame was $1 billion, if I remember right.
Yeah. Like Endgame, the last 2 were nuts, but I think we're in like safely in like 500 or 600 million.
623. So you're now at 1.664. Do you want to stop or do you want to keep going?
No.
Oh, this guy.
4-1, baby.
Thor 1? That feels
Yeah.
safe.
Yeah, that actually might be close to
That'd be
perfect.
pretty good. Yeah. Let's see. That one did 181.
Oh shit. Okay. Now do I push it?
You're at
on? 'Cause I'm like,
1845. 1.845. Do you want to stop or do you want to keep going?
I'm trying to decide if the first Hulk movie did worse than that.
The like OG?
The
Mark Ruffalo? Or not
The-
Mark Ruffalo, but like
no,
Bannon?
the
Eric Bana?
Edward
Norton one?
Norton.
So technically the second Hulk.
Yeah.
Got
Though
it.
the first one might be even safer. I'm not picking yet.
I know.
I'm trying to decide because like Edward Norton might have had some box office pull. What would the other one be? Hulk 2008. Hulk
2008 is the
first Hulk. What year was it?
2003.
All right, you know what? I'm gonna stop.
Okay.
I don't think Jake can beat me.
If you would have went with either of those,
I would have said Thor 3.
You would have said Thor 3.
No, Thor 3 definitely did more than 1.8.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
Thor
Love
2
and
did
Thunder,
1.
right?
It's just there's a baseline, like it's growing.
So
Thor 3 is Love and Thunder,
yeah.
but they're
I
all
bet
getting
you're
bigger.
right.
the Edward Norton
I-
Incredible Hulk was 134 million. You would have been at 1979.
Ooh. It was like I wanted to, but I think it's enough of a challenge for Jake.
Which one was Thor? Thor War of whatever? What was it?
Thor Love and Thunder,
Love and Thunder.
definitely did over $500 million.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's worse, but yeah, more people just go see them.
Yeah, Thor 2 sucked, and I'm thinking it probably still
But
did.
post-pandemic, you know. No, it's 343.
Yeah, I'm not good enough to like add the pandemic stuff in there.
Yeah,
too.
you got to remember the pandemic part. Hang on, let me get your stuff on here. Okay, Nate, you ended with 1845.
Thor: The Dark World, yeah, 206 domestic.
Not bad.
Still would have pushed me over.
All right, Jake, you know the number you got to hit. Which of the categories are you going to take?
I want Disney.
Disney. Let's
Confidently
go.
name enough movies to fill it up.
Yes, and also, judging off of that last exchange, I think that the old Disney movies are probably pretty stable
Mm-hmm.
in how much they got.
That's fair. All right, what's your first movie?
So I'm going to say first, give me The Lion King. I want to know where I'm at.
That is, you might just be able to sneak in a bunch of low-grossing ones to fill up the bucket.
You know what's sad now? When I type in The Lion King, oh, there it goes.
Oh,
There's like
yeah.
4 of
Yeah, I'm
them.
talking about.
Oh yeah, OG 94. I wouldn't take a different one. Na 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 na. That's the Lion King version of the song. 424 mil.
Okay.
That's your base. Give me the
So,
BS.
give me Toy Story.
Toy Story 1. You got a free.
I bet you're like in the 600s.
For Toy Story?
Like Toy
Oh,
Story,
combined?
just Toy Story. Yeah.
No, 223.
No, really?
Yeah, you're at 647.
Okay, give me
Interesting.
Toy Story 2.
Again, remember, it's the first one. People weren't really sure yet.
Yeah.
Toy Story
Yeah,
2,
but it was
though.
after Lion King.
Yeah.
I guess it's a pretty different thing. Like classic.
It was the first
animation
Pixar movie,
versus
wasn't it?
CGI. First Pixar.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're right.
245. For Toy Story 2, you're at 892.
Toy Story 3.
Toy Story 3.
This is gonna be a big jump.
Think so?
Yes.
2010. This one is 415.
Okay.
You're now at
That's a month later.
1.307. Who does he go with? Cars, Coco, Encanto,
Give me.
Frozen.
Wait, what am I at?
You're at 1.307.
Give me Toy Story 4.
Whoa. This guy loves pain.
Yeah. He's smart.
Yeah,
It's
it's
gonna be like 400 too.
434.
Okay.
You're now at 1.741. The number to beat is 1.845.
Okay.
Oh, that's actually tough though.
Yep. I got one in mind. Let me see if I'd win.
I'm trying to.
So he needs 1.3 million ish.
No, I need like 300.
What?
I'll need in between.
He's 1.74 million. Or billion. 1.741 billion.
1.74, and he's 1.8.
Oh, sorry, to yours. Yes, I was going to 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, to yours. Yep.
It's like, I was shocked my mouth was so far off.
No, this ear was listening, but the brain wasn't picking it up. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
The edible's starting to.
Snow White.
OG Snow White. What
It's
an
gonna be so
interesting
low,
choice.
but-
It might be too low.
It's gonna be too low, but you're gonna like fill up the bucket.
You want the OG 1937, right?
Yeah.
$2.
184 million.
Shit.
1.925, Jake.
Damn it.
Hell yeah.
I call that a dub. That was really close. Well done.
Nice.
If
That's more than I was expecting.
Yeah.
so, if Nate had done Hulk, he still
The
would have been
first
in the
Hulk.
lead.
Yeah, he would have.
I would have been the lead.
And then I'm curious, what's that one where they're with like Magic Mickey?
Songs of the South.
Magic Mickey Fantasia.
Fantasia.
Fantasia. How much is Fantasia?
Oh,
2000 or 1940?
The old one, 40.
1940.
Uh,
That one is 76 million. You would have been off by
Oh my
0.01.
Wait, would I have been over?
Yeah, you would have been at 2.001 billion.
That would have, if I had to still
I could have
pass it,
pulled
that
out
was my
such a
next
dramatic
choice.
win.
That mountain climber would have. All right. Round one
well
goes to
played.
Jake. 2 rounds to go. Next up. Tomato grocery shopping.
Mm.
I give you a budget of Rotten Tomato audience score total. You give me movies until you're as close to without going over that total. Your total is 500. So the audience score for the movies. Jake, you go first. Do you want DC, animated, Tarantino, or your top 16 list?
I will do. Give me animated here.
Okay. Rotten Tomatoes audience score with animated going for 500.
Okay.
When you're ready.
I'll start with the Wild Robot.
Ooh. You know that's high.
Fill up some hundreds.
98.
I bet this game would be like really great for the like video if you made a graphic that showed us as we filled things up.
I mean, we all know that's not going to happen. Tell you
I
what.
know. It's
Tell you what.
telling you what a real podcast.
If we had 100 subscribers and more than 7 views per video, I would do it.
Fair
So
enough.
it's on you, listener. Figure it out.
Um,
Hit subscribe.
Next, I will say The Lion King.
Okay.
Oh man.
I assume again the OG.
Yep.
Okay. 93.
Yeah, he'll use the other one later to fill in.
You're at 191.
My goal was to try and pick 5 that were as close to 100 as possible.
Yeah, that's
I was
Yeah, he's smart. He's
that's a
smart.
good way to do it.
But now it's kind of tricky. So
Mhm.
now I'm wondering if I shouldn't try and go for
Like 2 bad ones that add
Or-
up to.
yeah.
The strategery.
We'll see. We'll see. I
Mhm.
can always maybe come up with a terrible one.
Yeah.
Okay. And this is I'm passing on saying Frozen because I think enough people love to hate on that
Oh, interesting.
that it would
Okay.
probably
No,
bring
there's
it down.
no way it's below 90%.
How much you want to bet, Nate?
What can I bet?
I don't know. It's 85.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Jake was
Okay.
right. Yeah.
I think people hated the song.
Let it go.
I don't like people. That's
You
just
know
a reason
what?
to rate
I'll
the movie.
do.
Yeah.
I'll do Beauty and the Beast.
The OG?
I'm going to stick with Disney classics. I'm thinking people liked them.
Was the OG 91? Is that as old as it was only? Feels older than that.
That's
Maybe.
surprising.
That's
but
the
it's
OG.
possible.
Yep. All right.
Yeah, that is-
93.
That was almost 30 years ago.
I thought it was like the 50s.
Yeah.
I thought it was like Snow White era in my head. But yeah,
That's
you're right.
Almost 30.
93.
Over 30 years ago.
That's a 93?
2 years
Okay.
ago. Yeah, you're at 284.
Okay.
You're going to get rough on that last one.
Aladdin.
Aladdin. OG again?
Yes.
Okay. 92.
Okay.
I think it'd be funny if you then pick the other Aladdin. I just
So
wanna see
what am I
it'd
at?
be.
Like 380?
376.
That's not an animated movie, Ben.
I
I'm at
know. It's
376?
94.
There is a Aladdin and the 40
There's more
Thieves.
Aladdins for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Okay.
What are you at? What is he at?
I'm at 370 and change.
376.
Knock it out. Get 100.
I think I want to try and get 2 here.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. 126.
All right.
124.
Tell me what the Brave Little Toaster is, and then we'll
Ooh,
go from there.
good question.
I'm adding that to the list.
I think that's a darling. I think it's gonna be high too.
It's going to be like awkwardly in the middle, where it's not high enough that I want to end, but it's not low
Yeah, it's
enough
gonna be
that I
like-
can comfortably
It's gonna
pick
be
a
in the
second.
80s.
81.
Okay.
You're now at 457.
Oof. Come on, there's some bad.
There's some
animated
very
Yeah,
bad
I'm
animated
trying to
movies.
think. What's a bad animated movie?
I've seen a couple.
It is tough. Like bad animated movies just fall out of the public conscious faster.
True.
Do we count? No, I don't. I think Mad God would be too high.
It's
I would.
not animated.
Oh, that's tough. I don't. Well, it's
It's
stop-motion
animation.
No,
It's
I don't
stop
think
motion
animation.
animation.
I don't think
That
so.
is 100% animated.
I agree that it's animation.
Now I want to name it
Me
as my
too.
movie.
I mean, go for it.
I will name it,
For a
and
challenge.
that way I can be mad when.
I just hope it's too hot.
It was. It's
I think it might be.
69. You went over 526. All right,
Yeah,
Nate.
it wasn't even close.
You do have to burn a category.
I thought I remembered that it was. What's that?
You do have to burn a category.
Oh, I still want to play.
Okay, good. Thank God. I was worried about somebody messing it on the first one.
What are my options?
Oh, and I don't know how to do the last game. You have DC movies, Tarantino movies, or your top 16 movies.
We'll give you time to think about that.
Yeah, thanks.
Sight Unseen, I don't think I can do Tarantino. I think they're going to be too high.
You couldn't name 5 Tarantino movies?
No, I think they're going to be too highly rated to.
But if you can just name
Like,
5, you don't go
I
over.
want to play up to the close.
You
I'm not
could
gonna
just
name
do what
5
I did.
Tarantino movies. No, fuck that.
Just name 5.
That's not how I'm playing.
It's easy.
No, I'm gonna do DC movies.
Okay. That's a challenge.
Are there separate entries for Justice League and the Snyder Cut?
Let's see. Yes.
All right, give me the Snyder Cut.
Okay, good choice. So Zack Snyder's Justice League, you get 92. The critics was 71.
Yeah. Wonder Woman 1.
Wow. That one had a rough third act, but 83 from the fans. You're now at 175.
The second Suicide Squad. Or is it just
That's just Suicide Squad.
Oh
no, it is. You're right. The Suicide Squad is the good one. Suicide Squad is the bad one. 82. You're now at 257. 82. You're like basically right where Jake was.
Yeah.
Kind of crazy.
The Dark Knight.
Yeah, that's a great shout. Dark Knight, 94.
So I'm at
351.
Oh, okay. 351. All right. Batman Begins.
Okay. The least good of the 3. 94. Wow.
Yeah.
People really suck.
Oh,
Nolan's
I was going to say, yeah, I wanted a middling one.
All right, 445, Nate. Do you want to try?
Oh, yeah. We're going to go with the first
I know what I'm
Suicide
picking.
Squad.
I would have picked Green Lantern.
Oh.
Oh, wait. Sorry. No. Green Lantern wasn't there. No, I think this might be close enough. I want to do the Justice League.
Okay.
Bold.
Let me see here. I know I saw it. There it is. Oh. It was 67. You're also over.
Damn. Fire.
Green Lantern was 45. You would have been at 490.
Nice.
What about the first Suicide Squad?
Good question. Let me see. Suicide Squad. First one. Oh my God. Rotten Tomatoes really wants me to turn off my ad blocker. Hang on, I gotta go to my phone.
I really
now.
thought they would dunk on the first Suicide Squad or the first Justice League after the
I know.
Snyder Cut came out. I thought it'd be a lot lower.
Me too.
You said 60 something?
84. Suicide Squad was 58.
Which
you would have been over.
Would have been over by 1.
Yeah, you had 245. You'd have been over by 3.
Oh, 3.
Yeah. Here is your tiebreaker. I want you to give me whatever Fast and the Furious movie you think has the highest. So out of the both of you, whichever Fast and the Furious movies you will take. Oh yeah, you lost. Don't kid yourself.
Fair enough.
Which Fast and the Furious movies has the highest rating?
I wasn't listening to your rules. What are we doing?
I'm gonna give you. You have to tell me which Fast and the Furious movie has the highest rating. Critics rating.
Oh. Critics rating?
Yep. So you're each gonna give me one Fast and the Furious movie. I know they're named stupid, so just give me a number and I'll tell you which name it is.
I mean, I got it. I'm gonna go with 1.
Fast and the Furious. All right. That one got a 55. I'm gonna give you no context on that. It got a 55.
I'm gonna go with 2.
You're gonna go with
okay.
The Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift or Too Fast, Too Furious?
No, Too Fast, Too Furious.
Fast, Too
okay,
Furious.
That one got 37.
Ooh.
Okay, so my next one would have been Tokyo Drift. That was the other one I was debating.
Tokyo Drift was number 9 with 38.
Damn.
Number 1 was Furious 7 with 82. Fast 5, which is my favorite, 78. I think Furious 7 is one where Paul Walker dies.
I really thought Love will win.
5 was 78. 6 was 71. Hobbs and Shaw, 67. The Fate of the Furious, number 8 after that. F9 after that. Then the Fast and Furious. Fast 10 sucked, and they had that number 8. That's bullshit. It should be number 12.
Wow.
So,
strong opinions.
Jake gets a point. He's kind of ahead. But since Nate technically won that one, we're gonna keep going. Okay, last one. I gotta figure out what we want to do. But
I
Mhm.
wanted, as soon as I saw this category, I was like, oh, he really has something in mind for this,
Nope,
because
I didn't plan it.
This would be a rough thing to have to come up with on the spot.
I didn't plan it
It's
at all.
It's really it was so good.
I know.
And then you just submitted.
I'll try it.
Nothing.
I'll try it.
Third one.
Also, for the record, in category 2,
Yeah.
I was really debating picking Tarantino movies because I thought it would be really difficult to play this game with Tarantino movies.
Well, you can pick it right now.
Any random game. You don't know what the game is.
No, he's saying
Yeah,
for
we
this
do.
one.
It's on the sheet.
For this one.
Oh, I'm not looking
Nate
at
doesn't look at the
sheet.
sheet. So
I don't look
Jake,
at the sheet.
do you want Tarantino for the which of these is not like the other?
No, I want I want my top 16.
Damn it! I actually had one for the Tarantino. Okay, let me find your top 16 list.
Well, you're gonna
first.
be able to do it with
I'm
Nate
gonna do it,
anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but now I got to think of one for yours. Where's your top 16 list? I can't remember if I have it or not.
I have mine available.
I know. Jake, is yours nearby? In your phone, perhaps?
Yeah, ish.
It's in an old document somewhere. Oh wait, you probably texted it to me.
That's gonna be old. Search for Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings, Lord of the Rings. Okay, I got it.
Nice.
Okay. Okay. Okay, got it. Ready?
Yeah.
Wild Robot, Godzilla -1, Wall-E. Which of these is not like the other?
I'm gonna
This
say
feels like a trap.
Godzilla -1, and it does feel like a trap.
It's Wall-E. Godzilla -1 has a reptile, and Wild Robot is a bunch of animals, but Wall-E is some robots.
All right, just give up, Jake.
Yeah, I see how this game is.
This is pretty fun.
Ben makes fun of us. Yeah, it's fun for you.
Yeah, it's hilarious. Okay, Jake, you get Nate, you get Quentin Tarantino movies.
Yep.
I have an idea for one, but I have to find one that fits my narrative. Oh, I got one. Okay, I got it now. I think.
Okay.
Let me confirm. Hold on.
Gotta tell you, I was so impressed with this game right up until 10 seconds ago.
I thought the first one.
I literally, I saw the 3 categories, and I'm like, I do not know how this one is gonna work.
I thought it was
Great
pretty
game.
good, right?
It was.
The
great.
first, no,
They were.
the Wild Robot. That was pretty good, right?
Oh, you mean that first question?
Yeah.
No, that's awful.
No, that's
There
terrible.
are so many ways that you
Yeah.
could pick any one of those movies
Yeah, you
and make
could-
an
you could
argument
do
for why
any
it's different.
combination.
And it's
for
crazy
all
how you
3 of
didn't get it
those.
right.
it's a 1 in 3.
All right, let's see.
I can name
Wall-E
10
and Wild
ways.
Robot. Jake, can you come up with something obvious off the top of your
Oh,
head?
Wall-E
right
and
now?
Wild Robot
Oh,
have
yeah,
robots in
character's
it.
a
only
fucking
one of them
robot.
is animated.
Jesus Christ, Ben.
The main character is a robot.
That's funny. I didn't think of that.
I was also thinking Oscar nominations. That's what I thought you were going
Oh,
for.
That would have been a good one
I
too.
thought there was gonna be some secret
Yeah,
thing that they
And
were
all
gonna
of those very obvious ones, I would have been right. But you went with which
This
ones
is
have
just
reptiles
Ben's
in
brain.
them.
Hey, it worked out. Okay, Nate, here's yours. Here's your
It
3.
didn't work out.
It did for me. Okay, your 3 are his last 3 actually. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, The Hateful Eight, and Django Unchained. Which of these is not like the other?
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
You actually got it. Samuel L. Jackson is not in that movie. He is in the other 2.
I thought it was going to be Django Unchained because it doesn't have a number in the title.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Oh, once is a number. Yeah. All right.
Thought it was gonna
Wait,
be
is once a number or is once
because there's definitely no black people in that movie.
is once a number or is once like an adjective?
I agree, it's not a number.
All right, thank you. Okay, good.
Okay, what is a number?
Ooh,
Let's.
I'm just high enough to make this a whole episode.
You know it when you see it.
Jake, you
And
swept.
once is one of them.
That was awesome.
It's okay. I'm ready to get this one right.
Jake?
Get into Ben's high brain.
No, Jake won.
What?
Yeah.
I
Wait,
got
what?
the question right.
Yeah, you got one question right, but he got the other 2 right, so you're fine.
Oh, I thought we were doing multiple rounds.
Oh, do you want to do another
of
one?
this.
Oh God.
Well, no, I mean, no, not
Out
really.
of curiosity.
I gotta think of another one. Hang on.
It's whatever. What's the first thing that? It's actually more helpful if it's like the first thing that Ben thinks of. He picks 3 movies, and the first thing he thinks of,
I know.
and that's what you have to guess.
It's pretty close to how I do it. Let me see. Actually, I think. Okay, yep.
Oh.
Okay. Got it. Okay, Nate, you're up first.
Oh, okay.
Okay, 4 Rooms, Death Proof, and Kill Bill Volume 1.
Oh, it's Kill Bill Volume 1 because I haven't heard of the other 2.
Yeah, the other 2 were co-produced by Robert Rodriguez.
Yeah.
He just nails the 1 and 3 twice in a row.
All right, Jake. If you get this, you win. If you don't get this, you're tied.
I already won.
Get fucked.
And then we go to a tiebreaker, which is actually gonna be a fun one. So don't laugh like this wasn't fun.
It's fun.
I know.
It's just it's my enjoyment versus my appreciation of games warring.
I think of that clip of Brennan yelling at Sam about the points, and he's like, the points being arbitrary, it doesn't make it hurt any less.
Okay, here you go. Ready? Insidious, The Paranormal Activity, and Everything Everywhere All at Once. Which one of these is not like the other?
Okay, again, I can't go with the obvious one.
What's the obvious one?
The obvious one is the one that's not a horror.
Yeah, you're right. Everything Everywhere All at Once. Nice job. It's not a horror movie.
Nice.
He said he can't go with it.
Well, I goaded him to go for it, and he did. So he won.
Yeah, I didn't make an answer yet, and the host gave it away.
The host told you the answer.
Yeah, I felt bad about the game conceit being terrible.
You can stop the sentence there.
The first 2 were bangers. I didn't have anything for this one.
Amazing.
I think when I wrote it down this afternoon, I was like, I'll work on that later.
I just want to be clear. I didn't think I could lose the second game, or I wouldn't have played it that way.
That's stupid on you, honestly.
That is, yeah. And a very
I thought I had it. Because I thought I was just playing for fun, for entertainment. We're doing a podcast. What's more fun, me trying or me just being like, I burn this category and I win?
I mean,
what you should have done was gone up to your 450 and then said, okay, I'm stopping here, but
less entertaining unless I thought I had it locked.
And you know what? I'm entertained and I won.
It's crazy how that works.
So it worked out.
All right, here's your tiebreaker. Even though Jake already won.
Yeah,
I said
you gotta keep talking if that goes with you. No, this is official. He gave us a tiebreaker. We're playing a tiebreaker.
If you haven't watched Mountainhead, this is what Mountainhead is. It's just this. Okay, here's the tiebreaker that Jake already won.
I feel like you're overselling Mountainhead.
Jake won already. But this is a fun game I want to play.
You're a tiebreaker.
No, he declared.
It's called a higher.
Ben is the tiebreaker.
Ben is the god of his own game. We are just.
Nate, I want
you. You've taught me that I shouldn't play.
Nate, I want you to hear the words I'm saying right now. This is the tiebreaker game, but Jake already won.
No, yes. I won't play then.
That's fine. Jake, higher.
Then I'll win the tiebreaker too.
Jake, I want you to give me a Harry Potter movie.
Okay, I'm gonna say The Prisoner of Azkaban.
Great choice. I love that one. Nate, I want you to give me a Harry Potter movie.
Order of Phoenix.
Order of the Phoenix. Now, I want you both in your head to tell me. In your head, think of it first, and then tell me out loud. You're gonna think, is my movie higher or lower on the box office numbers? Lifetime gross than the other person's movie. So Jake, if you think your movie is lower than Nate's, you're gonna say lower. If you think it's higher than Nate's, you're gonna say higher. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yes.
Nate, if you think yours is higher than Jake, you're gonna say higher. And if you think yours is lower than Jake, you're gonna say lower. Does that make sense?
The first time you said.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you both have your answer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, go.
Higher.
So Jake thinks his was higher, and Nate thinks his was higher.
I didn't know I was right. Don't say you don't understand.
No, I was gonna. I understood, but now. So we played a game before where we looked at this, and I was remembering that. But now that I'm thinking, I think what we were talking about was the score, not the box office.
there's no chance.
So you know
that
what?
the
I'll
box
look up
office
your answer, and we'll see
equal
which one is right.
straight line.
Nate,
Yeah.
Jake, I'm gonna look up your answer as if it was the Rotten Tomatoes score, and Nate, I'm gonna use
Okay.
yours as the box office. Nate, you got it right.
All right, whatever.
Nate's is
Whatever,
higher.
man.
Because otherwise, I think you can just look at the order
Yeah,
of the
it's a
movies.
straight line.
It's not.
Yeah, that's why you were wrong. When
It's
you
not a
answered.
straight line. It's the lowest rated is Jake's 2004, or the lowest ranked for money is Jake's
Oh,
out of 8.
Really?
Yep.
That's pretty
Chamber of
surprising.
Secrets is next, then Goblet of Fire, then Order of the Phoenix, then Deathly Hallows Part 1, Half-Blood Prince,
Some drop-off
Sorcerer's
after number one.
Stone is number 2, and it's the first one. And then Deathly
Wow.
Hallows Part 2 is the most.
That is surprising.
Yeah.
Could have been interesting.
Yep. It still might be, because Jake's answer is still waiting. Prisoner of Azkaban, right? Is that what you said?
yeah.
For like 3 different reasons. Who cares?
Okay, you got an 86. Nate, what was yours?
The Order of the Phoenix.
Which I would guess is higher, but
Sure.
people like 3 a lot. People like 3 and 5 a lot.
5 is the good one. 81.
All right.
Nice.
Nice.
Jake was right.
Cool. We knew that already, but we just had to confirm it for you. Speaking of being right.
So the tiebreaker is a tie.
Speaking of being right. Everybody still here? You're A-okay with me. Thanks for listening to our episode today. I'd like to thank my guests, Nate and Jake, for joining us as always. If you're new here, you can follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and anywhere else you get your podcasts. If you watch us on YouTube, hey, like and subscribe. YouTube.com/@RumandCinema. And if you listen to us on Apple Podcasts, please leave us a review. That was a sentence I forgot to say before that last one. That's why we don't
How many
do ad
reviews do you
reads.
think we missed out on?
6. Oh, this episode? None. But 6 up until now. As always, we're going to leave you with what to watch next. I'm going to lead you guys off on Hulu from FX is a show called Adults, a comedy produced by Nick Kroll. It's about 20-somethings living in a house together in New York and their lives. The first episode is them being jealous of a friend who got molested at work. That's all I'm going to tell you. It's funny. It's a really, really smart, funny show. Really enjoyed it. Probably going to binge the whole thing, the whole first season.
Nice.
Like this week.
I mean, you had me at Nick Kroll.
Yeah. Really
More
good
like
show.
Nick Droll.
That's the kind of laugh that joke deserved. Oh, dear, you've made me chortle. Madam, can you please turn away so I can laugh? Nate, what do you got?
More of a reminder, and the only new thing I've watched
Dropout?
since our last podcast.
Oh.
No. Still recommend Dropout, but Rick and Morty is doing new episodes again.
Season 8.
They
nice.
There's been no standouts, but no bad episodes. The first 3 episodes are all fine.
A-okay.
I feel like they had a little.
They're all A-okay.
They had a little bit of a dip, and then I think they've bounced back since, and they've been consistent for a little while now.
I fully agree. Like, there were some really shitty episodes, and then they figured out what the standard Rick and Morty episode is. I'm just a little worried that every episode has been just the standard Rick and Morty episode.
Yeah.
But that's been all 3 of the ones from the new season.
And you know what? I'm not tired of it yet.
Nope.
I'm not tired of it. No. There's a
Will be.
lot of sci-fi to parody.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, they've been good. There's 3 episodes out so far.
Nice. Rick and Morty. Season 8. Check it out. Jake?
Check it out. Not streaming anywhere, I don't think.
Yikes.
It'll come to HBO in September.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
You
he
can wait.
recommends a show that I can't watch.
Damn. That's good.
It's heartbreaking. I saw 2 extracurricular movies over this past week. I saw The Karate Kid.
Nice.
If you like Karate Kid movies, you know what it is.
Yep.
Right. So, or I can recommend it if you like it. Does a good job, right? The fighting is a lot more interesting than it used to be. The stories still has the same overarching plot, but they changed it up enough that it's kind of interesting. It was a fun movie, but it's a Karate Kid movie, right? You know what you're getting.
Sure.
The other one I saw was Bring Her Back by the Australian duo whose name I don't
Philippou.
remember. Yes. And that was really good. I'd say maybe not quite as strong as their first foray, which was the hand one.
I'll look it up. I can't remember the name right now.
Okay.
Let Me In?
Yeah, with the hand. Something like that.
Let Her In?
Let me
Every ghost are just yelling at us right now.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Bring Her Back was really good. It wasn't particularly like horror.
Talk to me.
It was a lot of suspense. Talk to me, that's what it was.
Yeah.
A lot of suspense, and it was still kind of scary. It had its moments, but honestly, just a really cool story. I think that's kind of their strength is they do these horror movies. You know, I'm not terrified during the movie, but I think they're really done or well done stories.
Nice. That's always good when a movie can be like on the edge of your seat without having to like jump at you a bunch of times to make you feel that way.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. I like that. You know, I like, you know, just a classic horror movie where you're just scared the whole time.
Yeah.
But also, I just like that. I like Bring Her Back because it's a good movie with horror elements, right? It's a good movie of the horror genre, but just it stands on its own as a good movie.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Always a good way to recommend. Good movies, good times, good people. Thanks for listening. Enjoy your rum. Enjoy your cinema. We'll see you next time.